Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my fall mini lunch and learn series. I'm Helen Panos, Dynamis Learning. It's a K through 12 tutoring, SAT, ACT prep company. We do executive functioning and advocacy as well. So I'm on here today. My guest could not make it. She had a death in the family. So I am taking over for today's Facebook Live, and it's all about helping kids navigate change in executive function way. I don't know if many and dealing with emotions. So I don't know how many of you know that, sometimes emotional control has a lot to do with executive functioning and ADHD. So I want to go over, first of all, let me go over what executive functioning is for those who don't know. It's your child's brain. It's really like a brain manager, actually, and it helps them focus, play, regulate emotions, especially adapt when life doesn't go the way they expect. So that can be executive function. We all get stressed when things don't go maybe exactly the way we thought they should. But with children, it's a little more obvious if they're having a meltdown or some type of an emotional control or lack of control issue. And so I want to go over what's called the frame strategy. And you can use this to guide your child through change if you start to see that they're having issues. F is for feel it. And I'm going to go over the EF skill that kind of goes with that as well. And then with that would be emotional control. And an example would be like what a parent can say to their child to help them feel that is, you might be disappointed about what just happened, but that's okay. And just counsel them on, how are they feeling about it, and just kind of just, try to calm that situation down. So F is feel it. R is regulate it. So this goes under the self-regulation part of executive functioning. And what you can say as a parent when a situation occurs, you could just say, let's do 5 balloon breaths, or just take 5 balloon breaths, or more for little kids. But if you just want to say, take some deep breaths for a few minutes, close your eyes and take some deep breaths, that would help with that. A, acknowledge it. And in terms of executive functioning skills, perspective taking is pretty much what this falls under. And you could say something like, you really wanted that to happen, and just kind of calm the situation down again, but just basically say, well, this, reiterate what the situation was that occurred, and then say, well, I think that's really what you wanted to happen anyhow, right? In the end, this is what you wanted as a result of it. And then M is map choices. That falls under the cognitive flexibility skill. And you could say things like, we can do this or this next. What can you do next to kind of calm the situation down, or just give them choices, actually, is really what this is about, because it's mapping choices. So we could do this to try to solve it, or this, and give them some ideas and choices. No matter the age of the child, the adult intervening in this way is a good thing. And this is what executive functioning is kind of all about, because everybody does not have the skills to do this, right? E is expect and practice. So this falls under the executive functioning of planning ahead. And the script could sound something like, next time we'll make a backup plan together, because that's all about planning ahead. So if this doesn't happen, what else could we do? Just as a plan B. I like having plan Bs myself. So 2 quick executive functioning activities you could do with really young kids is what's called traffic light feelings. And, every traffic light has a red, yellow, and green, of course, in colors. But the red in this case would be, and you can make like a traffic light if you want in the child's bedroom, and they can see it, or put it in your living room. The red would be, I need help. They can flash that on. I'm sure you can get traffic lights in this day and time, actually, on Amazon. Yellow, I'm frustrated, but I'm trying. Green, I'm calm and I'm ready. And this all builds self-awareness, which is what you want as a parent. And it helps your child name the emotions before they overflow. So if they, are aware of them before they start getting the emotions, then they can at least name them and realize that that's what they're there before they go kind of berserk. So the challenge or the change ladder is draw or post this. You can post this kind of ladder. I guess I call it the frame strategy. And you could say breathe. You can give it a name actually and say Sally or whatever you want to call it. And you say Sally, breathe, say what you want, and then pick the next step and help your child sequence these steps to regulate and recover. So it's like a name of this thing, whatever the situation is, breathe, say what you want, and pick the next step. That all goes back to the frame, which is feel it, regulate, acknowledge, map choices, expect, and practice. A reminder for parents, practice flexibility on small changes first, different snacks, routines, routes, whatever. Flexibility is good so that kids can get used to changes, right? Because if they have a same routine, that's good in a sense, but it's also can be not so good for kids with ADHD and executive functioning. You want them in a routine, but then you also want them to get used to, if they're having this emotional control issue or regulation, you want them to get used to changes and flexibility, and having them be more flexible toward things that happen. So model calm language. That's another thing parents can do is, say something like, that was unexpected. And let's pivot, or if you don't like the word pivot, let's kind of look at the situation and see what else could have been done. So we know ahead of time for the next time. And then that way they can identify that situation, right? And then it helps also regulate first and teach later. So you try to regulate the situation first, and then you can teach them about it later. And you can go back to it and say, okay, this happened. Now let me show you what we could have done. Okay, so regulate first, teach later. So, this is all great stuff to have for if your child is definitely, a little bit on the emotional side of things in terms of dealing with situations that occur to them, because they're going to have to get used to that. We all have situations that occur and make them much more, emotional. Some things that also I'd like to mention is some of the common pitfalls of parents is explaining logic during a meltdown. That's not a good time to do it. You got to, again, regulate first, teach later. So, and then too many options. You just really want to give them 2 options, especially if they're younger. Only 2 options. If they're older, maybe 3, but try to stick with 2. Too many choices confuses anyone. And then minimizing feelings, that can be a pitfall as well. Validate that it's hard when plans change. I mean, just validate that feeling that they have, that when plans change, it's not, as a parent, I don't like that much either, right? And this is what I do when it happens, and maybe give them a scenario that you've experienced. So helping kids navigate change is really about growing their executive functioning muscle, their flexibility, their emotional control, and the planning. This is actually pretty big because, when they start to go work for someone, they have no control over what goes on, right? They got to think about it and really be aware of what's going on, have a plan, an action, a calm plan. So I can also get you a PDF of this if you would like it. You can just put frame in the comment section and I can get that to you. I'll reach out and get this to you. But when something changes, like let's say a canceled play date, kids, the prefrontal cortex is pretty much challenged. And that's part of the brain where, responsible for flexibility, like adjusting plans and emotional control, managing the frustration, and working memory, which is a big deal with ADHD and executive functioning. And that's remembering what to do next. That's where a lot of ADHD executive functioning kids kind of fall through the cracks. So we can train these skills just like muscles with practice and modeling. And my executive functioning person has a lot of experience, over 20 years of experience. She's also a special ed, former special ed teacher. And you can reach out to us. Let me get you the information. Contact me, and it's on the screen. And I'll be happy to, you can text me at that number or email me, happy to have a conversation with you first, complimentary conversation. Then I can connect you with my executive functioning coach. If it's a K through 8 situation, I have one for that. And then we have 9 through 12th grade and adults. And Crystal's actually going to be joining me, not next week. We're not doing a Facebook Live because of Halloween, but the following week, the first 2 Fridays in November, we'll be doing the Facebook Live together. And that's my high school adult executive functioning coach. So she's happy to answer any questions you've got as well. But we are ready to assist. We're very busy and getting a lot of calls where this is really the new wave of doing things, and schools are not able to do this. They're not certified to do this, and they don't have the time, to be honest with you. They have time to teach the classes. So this is a whole other class, to be honest. Anyhow, I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend, and the start of the weekend. And we, again, are here to help anyone that needs to chat about something they're seeing that they can't control, or there's something that's bothering you about your child. All righty, great. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye for now.